Picture this: a child playing in their backyard in 2040, but instead of grass beneath their feet, there's seawater. This isn't science fiction, it's the stark reality facing millions of Filipinos along our disappearing coastlines. NASA's latest data reveals something deeply concerning. Sea levels around the Philippines are rising 40% faster than the global average, while entire neighborhoods sink into the earth at unprecedented rates. The most vulnerable location on our countdown isn't just sinking, it's experiencing subsidence so rapid that developments built 5 years ago now flood during normal high tides. Here are 10 Philippine coastal areas that could be partially or completely reclaimed by the sea by 2040, with our number 1 entry representing one of the most significant urban challenges in Southeast Asia. Number 10. Aparri, Cagayan. Where the Cagayan River meets the Babuyan Channel, Aparri sits precariously at just 3 meters above sea level. This northern gateway has weathered countless typhoons, but recent storm surge data from Pagasa shows surges reaching 4.5 meters during Typhoon Ompong in 2018, higher than the town's natural elevation. The World Bank's climate projections indicate a 0.43-meter sea level rise by 2040, which doesn't account for the land subsidence occurring as the Cagayan River Delta compacts under increasing development pressure. Aparri's 65,000 residents depend on fishing, rice farming, and its strategic port that connects Luzon to the northern islands. The town serves as a critical food distribution hub, processing over 40% of Cagayan Valley's rice exports. But salt intrusion is already pushing inland 15 kilometers during dry seasons, contaminating freshwater sources and rendering agricultural land unusable. Beyond economics, Aparri holds cultural significance as the landing site of Japanese forces in 1941, marking a pivotal moment in Philippine history. Its lighthouse has guided ships for over a century, becoming a symbol of resilience. Will this historic beacon still stand above water when the next generation inherits these shores? Number 9. Roxas City, Capiz. The seafood capital of the Philippines faces a complex combination of environmental pressures. Roxas City's average elevation of 2.8 meters seems manageable until you consider that the surrounding Panay River Delta is sinking at 2.1 centimeters annually due to excessive groundwater extraction, according to Asian Development Bank studies. During Typhoon Frank in 2008, storm surges of 3.8 meters inundated 70% of the city, offering a glimpse of what regular tides might look like by 2040. This city of 175,000 people generates 12 billion pesos annually from its fishing industry, supplying Manila's major markets with bangus, hipon, and shellfish. The Roxas City port handles 200,000 metric tons of seafood yearly, making it indispensable to the nation's food security. Yet the very aquaculture ponds that drive the economy are accelerating land subsidence by compacting the soft deltaic soils beneath. The city's famous Capiz festival celebrates centuries of maritime culture, but rising seas threaten the mangrove sanctuaries that once protected these shores. Local fisherfolk report that traditional fishing grounds are shifting as coral reefs bleach and die. Can Roxas adapt its fishing practices fast enough to survive both economic and physical displacement? Number 8. Tacloban City, Leyte. Tacloban carries the scars of Super Typhoon Yolanda, where 7-meter storm surges devastated the city in 2013. Rebuilt lower and closer to sea level, this provincial capital of 251,000 faces a challenging equation. NASA data shows sea levels here rising 4.2 millimeters annually, 40% faster than the global average, while the city's elevation averages just 2.1 meters above current high tide marks. The rebuilt Tacloban serves as Eastern Visayas' economic hub, processing 15 billion pesos in annual trade through its reconstructed port. Daniel Z. Romualdez Airport, rebuilt after Yolanda, sits at 3.2 meters elevation, making it vulnerable to future storm surge scenarios that Pagasa models predict could reach 6 meters by 2040 during Category 4 typhoons. Beyond infrastructure, Tacloban represents Filipino resilience. Its people rebuilt their city from nothing, creating stronger homes and better evacuation systems. The city now hosts regional disaster preparedness training for Southeast Asia. But as permanent water levels rise, even the strongest structures face an enemy that never retreats. Will Tacloban's hard-won expertise in disaster recovery prove sufficient against the slow-motion challenge of permanent inundation? Number 7. Puerto Princesa, Palawan. Paradise has a serious problem: Puerto Princesa. gateway to the underground river and home to 307,000 residents, sits vulnerably along Palawan's limestone coast, where geological surveys reveal concerning land subsidence rates of 1.8 centimeters annually. The city's elevation ranges from sea level to just 4 meters in most inhabited areas, while climate models project a 0.38-meter sea level rise by 2040, enough to push regular high tides into neighborhoods that have never flooded. As Palawan's capital and the Philippines' ecotourism crown jewel, Puerto Princesa generates over 8 billion pesos annually from tourism, hosting 1.2 million visitors yearly who come to experience pristine marine ecosystems. The challenge is significant. The very coral reefs and coastal environments that attract tourists are dying from warming ocean temperatures, removing the natural barriers that protect the city from storm surges. The Philippine military's Western Command headquarters operates from Puerto Princesa, monitoring the disputed West Philippine Sea. This strategic location oversees shipping lanes carrying 30% of global maritime trade. Naval facilities and radar installations sit barely above current sea level, raising national security questions about protecting territorial waters when the bases themselves may be underwater. How do you defend a border when your own coastline is disappearing? Number 6. Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental. The city of gentle people faces anything but gentle environmental pressure. Dumaguete's 134,000 residents live in a city averaging 2.3 meters above sea level, built on a coastal plain where 3 rivers converge with the Bohol Sea. Recent geological studies show the Negros coast sinking 1.5 centimeters yearly due to tectonic activity along the Philippine fault system, compounding the projected 0.41-meter sea level rise by 2040. Home to Silliman University, one of Asia's oldest American-founded institutions, Dumaguete serves as Negros Oriental's educational and cultural heart. The university's marine biology research station documents coral bleaching that has destroyed 60% of nearby reefs since 2016, eliminating natural wave breaks that historically protected the shore. The city's port handles 4.2 billion pesos in annual trade, connecting the Visayas to international markets. The famous Rizal Boulevard, where generations of students and families have gathered to watch sunsets, now floods during spring tides combined with southwestern monsoons. Local pescadores report that traditional fishing spots are 30% deeper than a decade ago, forcing longer journeys for smaller catches. If you're from any of these areas, let me know in the comments how the changes are affecting your community. Your first-hand experiences help tell the full story of what's happening to our coastlines. Number 5. General Santos City, South Cotabato. Tuna capital of the Philippines, General Santos City's 697,000 residents depend on an industry worth 25 billion pesos annually, but their economic foundation sits on unstable ground. The city occupies the Sarangani Bay Delta at an average elevation of 2.7 meters, where the Buayan River meets the sea. Hydrological studies reveal that intensive groundwater pumping for the city's tuna processing plants is causing land subsidence at 2.3 centimeters per year, among the fastest rates in the Philippines. Gensan's fishing fleet lands 180,000 metric tons of tuna yearly, supplying major international brands and feeding millions of Filipinos. The city's cold storage facilities and processing plants employ 85,000 people directly, with another 200,000 depending on related industries. But the same coastal location that makes it perfect for fishing makes it vulnerable to rising seas. That Pagasa projects will increase storm surge heights from the current maximum of 2.8 meters to potentially 4.2 meters by 2040. The city represents Mindanao's integration with global markets, hosting the country's largest tuna export facilities. Its success story of transforming from a pioneer settlement in the 1930s to a modern industrial city could face serious challenges as salt intrusion contaminates freshwater supplies essential for fish processing. Can one of the Philippines' most economically vital cities engineer its way out of a rising ocean? Or will the tuna capital become another casualty of climate change? Number 4. Iloilo City, Iloilo. Once called the Queen City of the South, Iloilo City faces significant challenges from the sea. Built where the Iloilo River meets the Iloilo Strait, this metropolis of 457,000 sits at an average elevation of just 2.1 meters. The Iloilo-Guimaras Strait acts as a funnel during typhoons, amplifying storm surges that reached 3.5 meters during Typhoon Frank in 2008, causing the worst flooding in the city's modern history. Iloilo drives Western Visayas' 47 billion peso economy through its megaport, business process outsourcing centers, and educational institutions. The city hosts the University of the Philippines Visayas and over 40 colleges, earning its reputation as an education hub. Its historic Calle Real and heritage churches attract cultural tourists, while the modern Iloilo Business District represents the new Philippines, glass towers rising from ancestral ground. Geological surveys reveal that the Iloilo River Delta is compacting under urban development, causing subsidence rates of 1.7 centimeters annually. Combined with projected sea level rise of 0.39 meters by 2040, neighborhoods like Villa Angela and Souk are calculating when regular tides will reach their doorsteps. The city that survived World War II bombing and built itself into a modern metropolis now faces its most fundamental challenge. Will Iloilo's tradition of reinvention prove strong enough to reimagine itself as a partially aquatic city? Number 3. Legazpi City, Albay. In the shadow of Mayon volcano, Legazpi City's 209,000 residents face threats from above and below. This Bicol region capital sits at an average elevation of 2.4 meters along Albay Gulf, where volcanic soil creates some of the Philippines' most fertile farmland and most unstable foundation. The same volcanic activity that built the land causes micro-earthquakes that compact coastal sediments, creating subsidence rates of 2.0 centimeters yearly, according to Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology data. Legazpi serves as the gateway to Bicol, processing 18 billion pesos in annual trade through its port and airport. The city's Abaca fiber industry supplies international markets, while its growing tourism sector capitalizes on Mayon's perfect cone. The Embarcadero development project transformed the waterfront into a modern commercial district, but these new investments sit directly in the path of projected sea level rise. During Typhoon Glenda in 2014, storm surges of 4.1 meters combined with heavy rainfall to flood 80% of the city. Climate models suggest such events will become regular occurrences by 2040, as sea level rise reduces the margin between normal high tides and disaster-level flooding. The city that has learned to live with an active volcano must now master coexistence with a rising ocean. Can the same geological forces that threaten Legazpi also provide solutions through land reclamation or elevation? Number 2. Bacolod City, Negros Occidental. The City of Smiles faces sobering realities as challenging as its famous sugar industry is sweet. Bacolod's 648,000 residents live in a city averaging 2.8 meters above sea level, built on the Negros coastal plain where centuries of sugar cultivation have fundamentally altered the landscape. Extensive irrigation and groundwater extraction for sugar mills and urban development cause land subsidence at 1.9 centimeters annually, while deforestation in nearby watersheds increases flood risks during typhoon season. As Negros Occidental's capital, Bacolod generates 78 billion pesos annually, making it one of the Philippines' wealthiest cities outside Metro Manila. Sugar remains king. The province produces 60% of the country's sugar, worth 15 billion pesos yearly. The city's Mascara Festival celebrates this prosperity, but rising seas threaten both the coastal sugar mills and the port infrastructure that ships raw sugar to Manila and international markets. The new government center and Ayala Capital Central represent Bacolod's transformation from sugar town to modern metropolis, with new high-rise developments and business districts. However, these investments sit on reclaimed land that's sinking faster than older parts of the city. Pagasa data shows that by 2040, a combination of 0.42 meters sea level rise and continued subsidence could put parts of the business district below high tide levels. How will the Philippines' sugar capital sweeten its way out of a sinking situation? Number 1. The Manila Bay megacity, 2.5 million people living on unstable ground. What you're about to learn represents one of the most significant urban challenges in Southeast Asia. This isn't just reclaimed land, it's the largest human settlement in the region, built entirely on an artificial foundation that's experiencing rapid subsidence. From the gleaming towers of Entertainment City to the sprawling subdivisions of Las Piñas, 2.5 million Filipinos live and work in what urban planners describe as one of the most vulnerable metropolitan zones in the world. The data is sobering. According to satellite analysis, this megacity is sinking at 4.8 centimeters per year, a rate that has caused buildings constructed in 2015 to drop 40 centimeters below their original elevation. NASA satellite imagery shows significant sections of Pasay and Parañaque forming depressions in the landscape. with some areas now sitting below sea level during high tide. The weight of urban development, every mall, every casino, every residential tower, is compressing the artificial foundation beneath it. Here's what makes this situation particularly concerning. This sinking zone generates 400 billion pesos annually, representing 15% of the entire Philippine economy. Ninoy Aquino International Airport, the country's primary gateway, sits on land that could experience regular flooding during storm surges by 2035. The entertainment city casinos that symbolize modern Filipino prosperity are built on foundations that geological surveys describe as fundamentally unstable. SM Mall of Asia, once a symbol of Filipino retail success, now experiences flooding during spring tides combined with heavy rainfall. The human impact is substantial and growing. Entire barangays in Navotas already experience daily flooding during high tide, forcing families to raise their belongings and navigate ankle-deep seawater just to reach their homes. The new Senate building and Supreme Court complex, symbols of Philippine governance, sit on land that may require significant flood management within 2 decades. International experts studying Manila Bay describe it as experiencing accelerated subsidence patterns similar to other coastal megacities, but at a compressed timeline. By 2040, based on projections from climate monitoring agencies, the combination of 0.43-meter sea level rise and continued subsidence means that storm surges during major typhoons could create temporary inland seas stretching from the airport to Leyte. Government efforts to address these challenges include the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program and new flood control infrastructure, but the scale of subsidence presents ongoing engineering challenges. This represents more than an environmental issue. It's a significant long-term economic concern for modern Philippines. The critical question facing urban planners: can the country's most valuable real estate be successfully transformed into a climate-resilient urban zone? Or will the waters that once brought opportunity ultimately reclaim the land that ambition built on borrowed time? These 10 coastal areas represent more than geographic vulnerabilities. They embody the Philippines' relationship with the sea that has defined the nation for millennia. From Aparri's northern resilience to Manila Bay's modern ambitions, each location faces the same fundamental question: how do you preserve community, culture, and prosperity when the very ground beneath your feet is disappearing? The solutions exist and are being explored. Dutch expertise in floating communities, Singaporean land reclamation technology, and Japanese typhoon-resistant architecture offer pathways forward. The World Bank estimates that 3.3 trillion pesos in coastal protection investments could secure these areas through 2010. Government agencies are developing adaptation strategies, though time remains a critical factor in implementation. The choices made in the next 5 years will largely determine whether these places successfully adapt and thrive or become memories preserved only in photographs and stories. The sea that brought trade, culture, and opportunity to these shores now presents the ultimate test of Filipino ingenuity and resolve.